So I want to answer that, but let's step back for a second, because I think it's important for the American people to realize that the far left faction of Senate Democrats shut down the government because we wouldn't give them hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens.
44 Senate Democrats rejected a clean, nonpartisan continuing resolution to keep the government operating. They decided that it would be more important to give health care to illegal aliens.
You know what? Democrats denying that they want health care for illegals, but Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna made this admission to Maria Bartiromo. Listen.
The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion of the Medicaid cuts or the Affordable Care Act, if at all.
But it isn't just him. Remember when Democrat Party leaders did this back in 2019?
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Well, joining us now is former Deputy Press Secretary to Donald Trump, Hogan Gidley. Hogan, great to see you. Listen, are Democrats talking out of both sides of their mouths on this issue?
I don't know if they're talking out of both sides. I think they're talking out of one side. It's unified that they want to shut down the government to provide health care for illegal aliens. Pat Fallon, the congressman on before me, 100% correct. Republicans did their job. They voted for this nonpartisan piece of legislation, something Democrats had done 13 times in the past, to keep the government open for the American people. And instead, what Democrats did was voted to shut the government down so that their pet projects could be funded, like making sure illegal aliens have access to health care. So they're shutting down the American government so that the American taxpayer can pay for our American health care system to give American health care to non-Americans. It makes no sense whatsoever politically, and Chuck Schumer's in some serious trouble.
And you know what? J.D. Vance today pointed out how Democrats are deceiving Americans on that very issue. Listen to this.
We all know that there are various ways in which the Biden administration waved away illegal immigration status. They gave parolees, they gave asylum claims to people who weren't really claiming asylum. And when they waved the magic wand of amnesty, giving millions of people legal status, even though they were in the country illegally, they also gave those people access to health care benefits. So what the Democrats are engaging in is a sleight of hand. They're saying, no, no, no. Those weren't illegal aliens who were getting health care benefits, even though everybody, knows they were in the country illegally.
So is it a sleight of hand, and do you think that American voters are buying it?
They're trying to make it a sleight of hand. The American people are not fooled because, remember, this is a long history for Democrats. They ran on and lost on in the last election, both in Congress, of course, and the presidency, Senate as well, on making sure that illegals could come into this country without being checked at all. Wide open borders is what they ran on and lost on. So it makes sense that when they get here, as you point out with all of the presidential candidates on the Democrat side saying they also want to give them free health care, that they would stand up for this ridiculous piece of legislation as well, instead of standing with the American people. Donald Trump is there, the House is there, the Senate is there, the Vice President is there, because the American people want some level of common sense, where if they're paying their tax dollars into the government, it's the American citizens who should get that coverage and not illegal aliens. It is a big difficulty for the Democrats, because just from a pragmatic standpoint or a political standpoint, you'd think they'd go to where the American people are. Instead, they're moving further and further toward their radical base, which is taking them off that political cliff.
And what's interesting, Hogan, Democrats weren't always for health care for illegals.
Correct.
Remember when Hillary Clinton said this? Listen.
As to illegal aliens, we agree with you that we do not think the comprehensive health care benefits should be extended to those who are undocumented workers and illegal aliens. We do not want to do anything to encourage more illegal immigration into this country. We know now that too many people come in for medical care as it is. We certainly don't want them having the same benefits that American citizens are entitled to have. We want to draw the line as to who is entitled to have that health security card, and that should be only our citizens and legal residents.
Wow, what a concept. That was back in 1993. What the heck happened to the Democrat Party? Has the far left taken over?
100%. And you could have played a myriad of clips from Hillary Clinton there to Chuck Schumer to Nancy Pelosi to Bill Clinton. All the titans in the Democrat Party all stood up and said, we don't want to fund illegal immigrants' health care. But for some reason now, they're all on the side of ridiculousness, and they're sticking there instead of moving to where the American people want them to be, which is understanding the American people should come first.
It is absolutely remarkable. We'll have to leave it there. But Hogan Gidley, thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. We do appreciate it.